Hey everybody, Jim here once again with another knife overview, this time of something extraordinarily special, something that I'm going to have to be sitting on for quite a long time before I can even upload and reveal this video as part of an agreement to my friend Jason Brous. What I'm going to be showing you is not this, but this. A knife that as of right now, technically doesn't really exist. I received this on February 20th, and I have been in the process of purchasing it from Jason for a little bit of time. This is his prototype for what is right now being called the Divine Flipper. Now, I don't know if he's going to be changing that name at any point, but for right now it's being called the Divine Flipper. And this is technically the fourth folder from Jason Brous. The very first, many of you know, is the kind of infamous Silent Soldier Flipper. The Silent Soldier folder, Silent Soldier Flipper, whatever you want to call it, based off of his original fixed blade design, has been extraordinarily popular for him. It is an absolutely wonderful, great daily carry knife. You can check out my my other video on this. If you go onto my channel, you'll see I did a video just on this knife by itself. So this was his very first folder. Then he did the triple threat folder. Then he did the reloader. Now, the reloader is the reason why I'm having to hold on to this one for so long. The reloader also, as of this date, has not released yet. That is his collaboration knife with Mikkel Williamson. It's going to be an amazing, amazing knife. And I was actually going to be buying that prototype from him as well. But Jason is kind of a perfectionist, unfortunately. Well, I guess that's fortunate when you really think about it. He doesn't want to let a product out that's inferior in any way. So, he called me up. He says, listen, he goes, I know you want the reloader, but, the prototype, it's got one issue I'm just not happy with. I don't like the detent on it. It's, it's just having some issues. And it's a prototype, so it's going to stay the way it is. And I've already worked on the other models. So I said, okay, well, I'll pass on that. And he offered this to me. And honestly, I could not be more happy. And I think those of you that are able to get the production version of this knife are going to be even happier. So I'm going to get some of this other stuff out of here. For those that don't know, this was really what he's famous for, and that's his fixed blade models. This is the Coroner. He made a limited edition model right here, which was kind of the whole zombie fad that's going on right now, especially in knives. The whole zombie green with the zombie blood spatter. So just had to show that off because I don't really own any fixed blades. This is my only fixed blade knife. And due to the relationship that I've got with Jason, I was able to get this. And I'm actually really, really glad that I did. It's a super cool knife. But moving on into the Divine Flipper. Again, this thing is super special. Let me first begin by doing some size comparison here. And the one knife that I always find it easiest to do that with is a large Sebenza, because almost everybody owns a variation of a Sebenza, so you know what it's going to be like. This is a big knife. This is not tiny in any way, shape, or form. So getting the Sebenza out of there, let's start talking about what makes this so special. We're going to start here just to kind of show you guys what he engraved on there. And what he likes to do is he likes to test how his numbering is going to be. So he actually put a production run number on here, but this is his one and only prototype. And one of the ways you're going to be able to tell that is this has absolutely no jimping back here on the blade. When I talked to him yesterday or 2 days ago about the knife, he said that he's actually going to be adding some jimping here and a few other minor little changes he's going to make that makes him happier. So you've got about a 5-inch long blade. This thing is no joke. It's a monster. It's entirely made of skeletonized titanium and carbon fiber. And the most amazing thing to me, I'm a big flipper fan. I've got quite a few flippers. The thing that was most amazing to me was the action. It takes, and I seriously mean absolutely zero effort to get this open. Now, before I get into all that, I do want to see if I can get inside, and you can see that the titanium scales here are completely skeletonized. There is almost nothing there. So this actually weighs about what the Silent Soldier folder does. and that's not an exaggeration. All the weight really is in the blade, but he's actually done a very thin grind on here, so it's not quite as thick of a blade as he typically works with. When you flip this open, and again, just to show you that I'm not insane, I own a Todd Begg Bodega. The Bodega right now is pretty much the legendary flipper that everybody compares flippers to because it's so silky smooth, the detent is phenomenal, and it's got a very, very heavy blade. I can take this knife right here, blade up against gravity, barely touch the flipper, and it just flies open. It's almost impossible to get it to open without it locking up, to get it to just half open. I mean, I'm barely touching it. This is the absolute best flipping that I've ever had in any knife, period. It doesn't matter what the brand, how much it costs. I've never had one flip open that easily. His carbon fiber work is beautiful because this is not just one flat piece of carbon fiber. He's radiused this in so many different ways. It's very comfortable in the hand. I mean, it's going to be smooth and slick, and that was one of the things I discussed with him. You know, that's one of the downsides to carbon fiber. It's lightweight, it looks really, really great, but it's super slick in the hand, and that's why he's going to be adding some jimping up in this area to make it a little bit grippier. He's already got some down here. I don't know if that will remain just like that in the production model or not. He has discussed with me he's going to be changing out the pocket clip as well. He wants to make a more sturdy pocket clip than I have. That's fine. I'm going to carry it anyway. This is going to be, I don't usually carry such a large knife. I'm going to be carrying this a lot. But the beautiful work that he's done in this carbon fiber, it looks fantastic. It's all like a matte carbon fiber. When you get into carbon fiber, you can get into so many different ways of, you know, styles of carbon fiber. That matte carbon fiber that we're seeing there, something a little bit shinier, like this. The glossy carbon fiber looks good on certain knives, and I think the matte carbon fiber looks good on certain knives as well. This one, I could have gone either way. I think if you would have done a glossy carbon fiber and done a polished blade, it'd be kind of a dressy model of this. But with the satin blade that it's got, I think it's perfect that he went with this more natural, not too flashy look of the carbon fiber. The balance of the knife is nice. It feels great in the hand. Again, you've got to be accustomed to a larger knife. As you see how it fits in my hand, it's big. Reverse hand hold is going to be nice and comfortable as well. Again, the jimping is going to catch on your index finger. I would have preferred having some jimping back there. Maybe that's something he's going to be looking at doing. I don't know that this is really, you know, a serious combat fighter knife. It's certainly got a hell of a long reach. Comes down to a very, very thin point. Not quite needle-like. At the very tip, I guess it would be, but it's still, you know, it's thinner than his typical blade stock. Especially down toward the tip. So this is definitely going to be more of a cutter and a slicer. Also very good as a piercer. This is a really, really long, narrow blade. The comfort in the hand is phenomenal. The balance is nice. The flipping action, when you realize how inexpensive this knife is going to be, and I don't want to speak too much about pricing because, again, at the time of filming this, he's still a couple of months out from actually producing them. So I doubt that he's even 100% certain how much he's going to be charging. But I do know that it's not going to be anywhere near the expense of a Todd Begg Bodega or anything like that. And with the flipping action this has, that's what it's going to have to be compared to. It is just fantastic. There is just nothing else that feels like it. I don't know what kind of pivot he's using. I asked him, and I didn't really get too much of an answer, so I'm certainly not gonna press him on that. I love the fact that he went for standoffs this time. Typically, he uses a backspacer. Nothing wrong with a backspacer. It's a little harder to keep your knife clean, and I like the cleaner lines, the open frame of having the standoffs on there. So I can just run compressed air right through here and clean out any pocket lint or anything else that might have gotten in there. You do have a liner lock on that titanium liner. There it is right there. It certainly does jump over a bit. Again, this is a prototype. This is not a production piece. I'm sure that he's going to make it where it's not going to give you such late lockup on there. But if you're looking for something that has a big presence, that feels really full in the hand, that feels good, that looks good, that can really kind of be a showpiece as well as a daily carry and be lightweight, you absolutely want to search this knife out. That's the biggest plus for me. It is so huge, but it's so incredibly lightweight. I have knives that are half the size, that are twice the weight. And that's because he's not even using, you know, a full scale of titanium on each side. He has skeletonized them so much that there's almost nothing there. It really is just an outline, just a little bit of a frame. I know it's a little hard to see in there, but I hope you can. I think you can see it pretty good there. There's very little there. All the construction of this is really done with the carbon fiber. He's done a fantastic job. There are only 3 points of contact, so you've got 2 standoffs and the pivot. The finishing work is phenomenal, especially for a prototype. Prototypes, you know, are usually fairly rough. I've got another prototype sitting here next to me I'm about ready to make a video on, and, you know, it's an amazing knife, but it's still a little bit, you know, rough around the edges. This thing is finished fantastically, so I can only imagine how terrific the actual production knife is going to be. So if you've never tried any of Jason Brous's products, you absolutely need to. He is definitely a rising star and up-and-comer. He's a young guy. He's got a great attitude. I've had some just really hilarious and wonderful conversations with the guy. He's got great customer service skills, but his skills are where it really matters. On his machines, grinding out these blades, coming up with these unique designs, and producing as perfect of a product as I think he really can. He won't let anything out of his shop that isn't going to be perfect. So if you ever get something and you're not 100% satisfied with it, you know, he's not one of those dicks in the industry. You can contact him, say, hey, you know what, I love the knife, but there's this or this, and he'll make sure you're happy. That's what he's all about. So give the new guy on the block a shot. I think you're really going to dig him. For those of you that have been collecting fixed blades for a long time, you're probably very, very well familiar with his work. But us folder guys, you know, like I said, I only have that one individual fixed blade knife now. That's because it's the one that he had sent me in that coroner. I'm a folder guy, and once he started making folders, that's when he showed up on my radar. And I'm so, so glad that he did. This is one that will pretty much be in my collection forever. Sometimes I get a little bit finicky. I might flip a knife here and there, pay for another one with it, trade off. This is one that's definitely going to be staying in my collection. So when these get released to the public, I certainly hope you get a chance to get one in your hands, try one out, and hopefully you'll be as impressed as I am. Good luck.